I'm actually so upset right now because I just filmed this whole entire video and I have to redo it because I didn't press record. Anyways, you're starting your Amazon FBA business. What are the actual mistakes you're going to make? And I'm talking about real mistakes, mistakes that I made myself, mistakes I see everyone else make, mistakes I see all across the board, real mistakes. I'm not going to tell you my biggest mistake was not networking, even though that's a really good thing to do. But I'm not going to tell you that in this video. What I'm going to actually tell you is sourcing mistakes you're going to make as a rookie, and then mistakes you're going to make as you're scaling your business, like the biggest mistakes you can make. Not only mistakes that where you're losing money, obviously that's like the biggest thing, but then also losing your account. How to avoid losing your account. I'm going to address all that in this video. That's why I'm here. So I make these videos every single week. So if you aren't familiar with that, then look at my other videos because I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about selling on Amazon. Anyways, let's get straight into it. First thing is first, you got to start your Amazon FBA business, okay? But then what kind of mistakes are you run into? Well, the first thing you got to do is actually find products to sell. There's actually two things, right? Finding products to sell, and then once you sell through those products, now the most important thing here in the beginning is obviously this. So we're going to address this first. Now, what are some mistakes that you're going to make here? Well, they're product sourcing mistakes, right? Because this is the whole thing we're starting with. And this is rookie mistakes that once you see this video, you're never going to make again because you saw this video, hopefully. Or maybe you'll make them because you just think that it's okay, but it's not okay. So make sure you pay attention to this video. Now, the number one thing here is price spikes. Now, is it good or bad? Well, it's kind of good because obviously if the price is up, that means that we can make more money. However, you have to realize and know exactly how to read these charts on Keepa before you can go ahead and decide that it's a good time to buy. Because just because the price is up and it's making more money does not mean that by the time that we get a cent in, that's going to be the case. So you have to know how to read these. So how do you read these? Well, if you look at this product right here, we clearly see the price has gone up a lot. A lot. It went from $20, now it's up to $60. So clearly, this is probably a really good product right now. However, doesn't mean that by the time we get a cent in, this isn't going to drop all the way back down. So how do we actually know and predict this and like decide if it's good or not? Well, obviously we don't know for sure, but we can pretty well predict what to do here. So first thing I notice here is okay, at this price point, we're probably not profitable. If you are profitable at this price, this low point, by all means go for it because you have no risk. However, if you're only profitable up until like this $50 mark, well, this is pretty risky because we're like right here at the brink of it about to tank. And if it tanks anymore, well, then we're losing money. It's not worth it, especially when you consider the fact that this BSR is terrible. It's at 500K, so it's not selling. It's selling, but very slow, right? We know it's selling because look at the offers, they're falling. So we know it's selling, but it's definitely selling slow. So like, would I buy this or not? In this case, if my $50 is break even, no. But if $20 is break even, then yes, by all means, I'd go ahead and buy it. So know how to read these charts, right? As the BSR, or sorry, let's base like this. As the price goes up, what you're gonna notice the BSR is gonna go down because obviously it's more expensive, less customers are buying it. Generally, as the price goes up, that means the offers are going down because that's why the price is going up because less people are selling it. So this is like the correlation you'll see pretty much across the board. So this is like the crash course Keepa reading right here. As price goes up, offers typically come down. BSR also comes down. So now this is also on the flip, right? Because as the offers go up, then generally the price goes down. As the price goes down, the BSR also goes up. However, as the BSR goes up, more offers come down, so the price goes up. So it's like a flip. It literally like all flips together. Because as the BSR is really, and as when I say up, I mean like down, like closer to zero, sells faster. So as the BSR sells faster, more people sell through and the price slowly goes up. So it's like a revolving game of like back and forth between these three. These are three things that you need to consider when deciding if a product's good or not. So just pay attention to price spikes. You know, it's okay to sell on them if you're profitable up to a certain point. But I see a lot of beginners make this mistake. They're using like TA or like these other softwares that find you products. And like, oh, it looks really good right now. Like, yeah, you can find a million bajillion products that are really good right now that are on price spikes. It's not hard. It's just, should you buy them? Well, that's one of the things. So make sure you're paying attention to this. Now, this is one major mistake I see people make, but the other biggest mistake I see people make is selling on variation listings. I'm not saying not to sell on variation listings, obviously. Some of my best listings are variation listings, but you have to know exactly how to read variation listings, right? If we look at this product real quick here, this Nike black slide in a size 11, you would think in the beginning, if you're a complete rookie, sells this many times a month, which if you have any experience in this game at all, you know that's not the case. This is for the whole entire listing. So we can see if we click into the variations tab on Keepa that there's a actual ton of different variations on this listing. So that means that all of these combined are selling this many times a month. So we need to really make sure that the one that we found profitably is selling, because just because maybe we found this pink one right here in a size 8, and we just assume that it sells this many times a month, so we need to clear out the store. We need to buy all of them, 50 of them. But then you get them in, you send them in, you're not selling a single one because that one listing looks like this white in a size 9. The offer count's coming up. It's not really going down. It's pretty much just trending up and holding, and it's getting no ratings. That means that variation it's probably selling. It's just selling really slow. And if you have 50 of them, why are you tying up all your money in one product? Whereas this one right here in a size 10 actually has offers going up, coming down, trending down, and it's getting active ratings. So we know for sure that this one is selling more. I can comfortably buy a lot more. And nowadays, Keepa actually will show you the monthly sold estimate. So it makes it so much easier for us now. Like, you can look at Keepa's monthly sold and it will break it up per variation. So they're going based off Amazon, right? So this black size 11 is selling 400 times a month. That's different than this because this variation is selling 400 times a month, not 2,000 times a month. So pay attention to that. Know how to read the variations. Don't be like the person that just goes ahead and buys a random color and a random size and gets stuck with it, because that's the biggest mistake I see new sellers make, especially ones that are doing like retail arbitrage outlets. Like, that's the big mistake, right? So obviously if it's not getting any sales, you're stuck with inventory, and that looks like this one. But if it is getting sales, well, then this is also a really good thing, because now you turned it into a nice replen, because more people are avoiding these variation listings because they had a bad experience with this, so they don't want to sell on this, they avoid it. But you know exactly how to read the variation listings, so you can come in here, dominate, less competition, and continue to replen these products. That's why they're really good if you know how to read them, but very bad if you don't know how to read them. So make sure you know how to read them. Another major mistake I see new sellers make is selling on misbranded listings, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe if you try sourcing off Spring Valley, you see those little stickers. Well, those aren't branded correctly. Don't sell on those listings. Like this example right here. This is clearly a Buffalo Wild Wing sauce, but why is it listed under Snackivore? Okay, it's misbranded. Don't sell on these listings. This probably comes with something included, so there's a lot of bad things that can happen here. If this brand is trademarked, they can buy this item, and if you don't include whatever they're supposed to include, they can file an IP against you with the test buy, and you're screwed. Your account's screwed. Okay, I've seen it happen before. Don't make that mistake. Just don't sell on these listings that are misbranded. Not only can the brand owner get in trouble, because this isn't, and Amazon's been cracking down on this more recently, but the brand owner can get in trouble, and you're going to get in trouble too if you're selling on it. Or even worse, the brand owner is going to buy the product, see that it's doesn't include their thing. They have a registered trademark, and then your account's chalked because you made that major mistake. So don't make this mistake. Avoid misbranded listings. Make sure it's branded correctly, right? If you're selling a Maybelline brush, make sure it's listed under Maybelline and not Beauty World or something random. Now, this also goes hand in hand with this, right? This is clearly a Kirkland item. This is from Costco. So it should be branded Kirkland, not generic. Okay, we're selling brand name stuff, doing OA and wholesale. So make sure that you're selling on branded listings. Don't be selling on generic listings. Now, I've seen a major issue in the beauty category with generic listings getting section 3s. I don't know why I just drew a money sign. Actually, complete opposite of that. I've seen a lot of beauty categories getting section 3'd. Okay, I haven't really seen other categories like grocery items. I've never really seen major issues. The only issues you'll probably run into is like listing the item, right? You're not going to be able to list it. It's going to give you like the 58A5 error. But either way, don't be selling generic listings. If it's branded, make sure it's branded correctly. And I know these are very tempting because these look way more profitable. These look like the best listings. It's because they're not branded correctly, and the smart sellers know not to sell on them. So you need to be a smart seller, not selling them. Now, these are the 3 huge mistakes you're going to make here in the beginning. And these all tie to a big mistake, because this one mistake that I'm going to show you, if you make any of these mistakes, it's much more costly. And that is going too deep. In the beginning, you're inevitably going to make mistakes. It's going to happen, right? You're going to mess up on a variation listing. If you go too deep, well, now you're going to have to cut your price, probably to lose money, hoping to sell because that variation is not moving at that price you think it is. You're stuck with inventory. Your cash flow is tied up. Lose. It's because you went too deep. Now, if you only bought 3 or 4, who cares, right? You only bought 3 or 4. It's not a big deal. Same thing goes with price spikes. Okay, your product's going to tank. You're losing money. These things go in obviously, right? If a product tanks, you're losing money, or you're close to break even. It's not worth it, and you're just hoping for buy box to come back, because as the price spikes, more offers come on. More offers come on means less rotation for you. which means big mistake if you go deep. So avoid going deep, okay? Because same thing goes with these, right? Accounts at risk, blah, blah, blah. Everything is at risk when you're selling on these types of listings. These are big mistakes you'll make when sourcing. So these can all be avoided with doing one thing, and that's going wide. Don't go deep, go wide, okay? Because you're going to have quicker churn. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have 10 items, or let's say you have 10 different ASINs, 10 products, and you buy 10 of each. So this gives us 100. Or you buy one item, 100 of each. So this gives us 100. Which one are you going to sell through faster? Obviously, you're going to sell through this one faster because you're selling on more listings. You're going to sell through 10 different items with 10 units faster. You're going to sell through 100 items or 100 units of one item because it just makes sense, right? 10 listings versus one listing. You're going to have quicker churn, which is very important in the beginning to get that money flowing. Even long term, it's very important. You're also going to have much more data. You know out of those 10 items, which ones can you double down on and go deeper on? I have so many videos that go over all this too and much more in depth, but just know you have much more data with more items, obviously. And then obviously it's more or less risk. I know a lot of people say it's not less risk because if you're selling on 10 different items, then you're much more likely of getting an IP. Well, not if you know what you're doing. And I have videos on that. Don't sell on generic listings. Don't sell on listings with the brand. And look for IP issues on the Keepa chart or get IP alert. Keep track of all your records. Keep track of your documents. You can fight these things. Get a lawyer on retainer. There's things you can do. But I think it's less risky because, again, you're not tying your money up. Like this is your risk here if you go deep and you make a mistake like this. And these are just some mistakes. There's more mistakes, but these are the 3 most common ones. So the risk here is like you're tied up with money. You're losing money. And now you think this doesn't work, so you quit. Okay, and it's a much more stable business. I'd much rather have 200 activations on my store selling because if one goes bad, who cares? Whereas if I have 10 different items and one goes bad, that's 10% of my business. I care a lot. It's a much more stable business. And the biggest thing here is, again, the mistakes are much less costly because if you make a mistake on this variation listing, but you have 10 units, okay. Now if you made a mistake with 100 units, well, now that's a big deal. So this is the biggest thing here is the mistakes are much less costly. Now these are the 3 biggest mistakes you're going to make while sourcing products. But then let's say now you're good with sourcing. Now what are some mistakes you're going to eventually make when you sell through products? This is the biggest mistake because this is the biggest mistake for me is tracking your orders, okay? Inventory in, inventory out. So inventory in is anything you order from a supplier or retailer like Walmart. Inventory out is anything you send into Amazon. Make sure that when you order 10 units from Walmart, you're getting 10 units because if you order 10 units and you get 9, it's not just like you're missing out on the profit from this one item. No, that's not it. You're missing out on the profit from maybe 4 of these items or 5 of these items because this is your buy cost and your projected profit. So that's going to wipe out a bunch of the potential profit on the other items. So you really need to track that because even one item missing is drastic when it comes to this business, when this inventory business. So either track it on a spreadsheet, get really good at tracking it, highlighting, doing what you got to do, tracking your statements, or get a VA to do it for you. Those are your options. Amazon check-ins, same exact thing. If you send in 10 units, make sure they receive 10. If they don't, then you got to go in there, upload invoices to prove to them that you have 10, you own 10, and you need your reimbursement. So I use seller investigators for this. They take 25% of what they recover, but it keeps me headache-free. It's very straightforward. Or you get a virtual assistant to go in there, track your orders, and do it for you. Those are your options there. Now, this isn't a massive deal with 10K a month. You could probably do it yourself, but as you scale to 100K a month or 50K or 40K, this is going to get very, 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 very sloppy, especially the inventory in. Because this you can at least go back and check, but like inventory in, like make sure everything is getting counted. It's going to get very sloppy if you're not paying attention. And they make mistakes all the time. The last thing here is obviously breaking the rules. Don't break the rules. If you're selling lots of stuff, you're going to get your money tied up, inventory tied up. That's the last thing you want to do. And here's just some mistakes you'll make. Obviously, IP. Same thing, I already talked about this. Just watch for IP issues. Generic listing, just talked about that. Restricted products, I've had 10, 20, 30 of these before. Not a big deal. But just try and avoid, make sure you're always responding to them if you do get one on your account. Like acknowledge it or do what you have to do. Get a lawyer on retainer. They'll tell you what to do with these. But just, don't sell, if you know something is hazmat, but it's not categorized as it, like just be careful, pay attention to the rules. Inauthentic items, this goes without saying, make sure you're buying your stuff from authentic sources, retailers. Don't buy from Telegram. Don't buy from sketchy suppliers that are forcing you to take 600 units of this random beauty product that has a 6-week lead time. It's very sketchy, clearly. So be careful with those. Manipulating ratings. Don't tell mommy or your brother or sister to go and leave you a review. It's never worth it. You get plenty of sales with 0 reviews. This reviews don't really do anything at all for buy box. So don't worry about that. And also keep proper records. Make sure you keep all your invoices. Keep them organized in case you have to pull them up for reimbursements, IP issues, and obviously make sure you're using the correct billing. So whatever your billing address is on your Amazon account, make sure the billing address matches on all your invoices and paperwork. Shipping doesn't have to match, but billing does have to match. So make sure you're on top of that. If you can avoid all of these things, you're going to be sitting pretty well. Save this video. Don't make these mistakes, especially these ones in the beginning, and then make sure you're keeping all these things in mind as you scale your operation out. Do that and you'll be good. Now, if you're still struggling with finding products, well, you're in luck, because I have so many videos on my page that go over live sourcing, go over all that stuff, how to win more buy box, how to find products, how to analyze products, all that stuff to help you get started. It's all on my page. You'll make a lot of money just by going through all my YouTube videos. I promise you that. But I know a lot of people like implementation. They like getting their hand held through the whole entire thing. And that's also available too. Yes, I have a coaching program where I work with my students one-on-one. If you have capital, if you have time, if you're actually a hard worker and you're not lazy and you're like ready to actually start, you have like an understanding of Amazon, you're just still stuck, or you want to like expedite this whole entire thing, I can guarantee you results. I can do that. Only if you are hardworking. That's the biggest thing. You have to like be ready to work, because I'll work with you for as long as it takes. That's why I can guarantee the results. You just have to be willing to put the work in as well, because this is not as easy as it looks. I mean, that's why I make these in-depth videos like this, because there's a lot more that go into it. So check out my page, go through the rest of my videos, see if this is something you actually want to get into, if this is completely new to you. And if it is, then book in that call down below. We'll chat. You're going to talk to me, myself, and we'll see if you're a good fit. And again, like I said, if you have money, you have time, and you're hardworking, then you are a good fit, and I want to work with you. That's what I want to attract. So get this Amazon business going, because this is a massive opportunity, massive cash flow machine right here if you can make this work. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.